Hit that like button, subscribe. Excuse me. Support the channel. Focus Daily TV. Today we'll be speaking about private law, which is the exact opposite of common law. Yesterday we spoke on common law. We read a couple of definitions and we watched a video to get more in tune with the meaning of common law. Today we're going to break down this private law, but we're going to re-step yesterday. I read a little bit more into the definition in the Black Laws Dictionary, and I want to add this on to yesterday's lesson. It gives a better understanding of common law. Let's go. Common law, as distinguished from equity law, it is a body of rules and principles, written or unwritten, which are fixed and immutable authority, unchanging authority, and must be applied to controversies rigorously and in their entirety, and cannot be modified to suit the peculiarities of a specific case or colored by any judicial discretion, and which rests confessedly upon custom and statute, as distinguished from any claim to ethical superiority. So as you can see, common law is immutable and cannot be modified. Common law is the laws of God, the laws of the land. Now we're going to delve into this private law, which is the exact opposite. The laws of the sea, the admiralty law that I speak of. It is how commerce and business and federal judicial situations are handled under admiralty law, which is opposite of the laws of God. Private law, as used in contradistinction to public law. The term means all that part of the law which is administered between citizen and citizen, or which is concerned with the definition, regulation, and enforcement of rights in cases where both the parties in whom the rights inheres and the person upon whom the obligation is incident are private individuals, corporate individuals, corporatized individuals, citizens on the citizenship. If you go back to earlier videos, we did a video about how admiralty terms are used throughout this world: citizenship, relationship, partnership. It's all dealing with admiralty and laws of the sea. Let's go on to another definition. I got a couple of them from the Cornell Law School. All right. Admiralty in the United States developed from the British Admiralty courts present in most of the American colonies. Now, once again, when you see words like British and English, it's a play on words. The blacks here in America are actually the real British, and aligned with many of the stories that were presented about Britain, such as the American colonies were at war with Britain, when the American colonies were actually at war with black men, Afro-Americans, the children of God, trying to disenfranchise us and take this land that we live in from us. These courts function separately from courts of law, separate from the court of law, and equity, with judiciary acts, though, through laws passed, private laws. Congress placed admiralty under the jurisdiction of the federal district courts. Although admiralty shares much in common with the civil law, it is separate from it. It is a whole different case from the laws of the land. Common law does not act as a binding precedent on admiralty courts. So the common law that we spoke of, the laws of God, play no part in the precedent of admiralty courts. But it and other laws may be used with no law on point is available. So they sway back and forth depending on their needs. Now, once we as a people chose to become citizens of this corporation by registering through birth certificates, social security numbers, and things of that nature, we gave up our right to the common law, and we were indulged, we were submerged, that's the word, within this admiralty sea system. Submerged since birth. We were cursed when we came in, and most will be cursed when they go out. Like this thing, I got this fan blowing on me because it's kind of hot in here. Don't worry about that. Let's go. So, as we can see, common law and private law are on two different hands, play two different roles, and don't have much in common with each other than when admiralty laws are not present, common laws come into play. But, let me see, I think it says something about the federal. Okay, let's go right here. The courts and Congress seek to create a uniform body of admiralty, both nationally and internationally. So the things I speak of occur not only here in America, but all around the world to facilitate commerce. The federal court derived their exclusive jurisdiction over this field from the Judiciary Act of 1789. That's when the federal government began their overthrow of the authority of the black man. Let's look what this act is. The Judiciary Act of 1789 is the federal act which established the lower federal courts and other functions of the federal judiciary. Article 3 of the Constitution provides that judicial power of the United States shall be invested in one Supreme Court and such inferior courts as Congress see fit to establish. Article 3 establishes neither how many justices should sit on the Supreme Court nor the structure of the federal courts. The Judiciary Act of 1789 filled the gaps by providing the Supreme Court of the United States that the Supreme Court of the United States shall consist of a Chief Justice and 5 associate justices. The act also created federal districts and circuit courts, which would hear appeals from district courts and would become court appeals. So this admiralty system that I speak of began to take effect during this time period. And the pseudo-federal government began to take control of the lives and the minds of the children of God, which caused them to turn from his commandments and reject his laws, which led us to the situation we find ourselves in today as black man, women, and child. A system of injustice, cruelty, oppression, depression, systematic racism. It all began once we began to follow their ways rather than the ways of the Lord, the word of the Lord that is written in this book, the Bible. Most of the stuff I speak of is written directly in the Bible. I'm kind of breaking it down and giving clues to the information that's locked up within. But you have to pay attention to the show, tune in, hit that like button, and support the channel. #Focus Daily TV. I'm not saying you have to do that for biblical reasons, But you know what I'm talking about. All right. Now let's look at this admiralty in effect and how it applies to us today. They got a law called Cestui Que Vie Act of 1666. And I'm just going to read it. Recital that Cestui Que Vies have gone beyond sea, and their revisioners cannot find out whether they are alive or are dead. So from the moment of birth, your feet, the bottom of your feet, the sole of your feet was placed upon a dock, a maritime dock, a document, a birth certificate, and you were considered lost at sea. Your parents had 3 days to claim you, but being that we were caught up in the evil, wickedness, witchcraft of this world, we didn't understand what was actually going on. And our parents put our feet right into this Cestui Que Vie trust. Whereas diverse lords of manor and others have granted estates by lease for one or more life or lives, and else for years determinable upon one or more life or lives. And it hath often happened that such person or persons for whose life, just hold on, keep listening, or lives such estate have been have gone beyond the seas, and so absented themselves for many years that the leaseors and revisioners could not find out whether such person be dead or alive. See, the leaseors, this is like the government. It's a trick they're playing. They claim that they couldn't find you. But were they actually looking, or were they actually looking to systematically destroy us? Okay. Such persons or persons should be alive or dead by reasons whereof such leasers and revisioners have been held out of the possession of their tenement for many years after all the lives upon which such estate depends are dead, in regard that the leaser and revisioners, when they have bought actions for the recovery of their tenements, have been put unto it to prove the death of the tenants, when it is almost impossible for them to discover the same, for remedy of which mischief so frequently happen to such leasers and revisioners. This is a lot of legal talk. I'm not going to break it down right now. I'm just trying to put this preview out here so people can become familiar with the information. I said a lot today, so we're going to end it right here. Excuse my stuttering and jittering. I'm still kind of nervous. I'm trying to get the hang of this whole live. But anyway, hit that like button, subscribe, support the channel. Focus Daily TV, we out.